Welcome back to vSphere Upgrade, the Insight Track, the final episode. My name's David Stamen.
And I'm Kev Johnson.
So for this episode, we're going to be talking about the post-upgrade considerations. What do we do once the upgrade is complete? And so some of the things we need to think about first are certificates, right? What are the different ways we can kind of manage our certs?
Everyone loves talking about certs on vSphere, right?
Yeah, everyone does. But we really simplify this a lot of ways. So by default, we recommend the VMCA default. This allows the Platform Services Controller to be the root certificate authority, and it manages all vSphere certificates down the chain, and it's one of those recommended ones. If you want to not have any self-signed certificates, that's where we kind of recommend the hybrid model, where you're replacing the web-based certificate with a third-party cert like your Microsoft CA, but then all of your hosts are still utilizing the VMCA for those certificates.
And all of the other all of the services behind the scenes, the ones that humans don't interact with, right? Okay,
they're still using those. But then we also have the custom where maybe we're in a really secure organization. We want to disable VMCA altogether and replace every certificate manually. It's really complicated, but it's only for those really high security customers.
Yeah. And obviously, if you do select this option and the certificates expire, bad stuff happens. So make sure you replace them before they expire.
Yeah, and the last one is what we've seen a lot of customers adopt over time was the VMC Enterprise, where it was like the intermediate certificate authority, but it's really not recommended. So if you are currently running the VMC Enterprise, we recommend migrating to the hybrid model.
Hybrid is that seems to be the cool way forward. So that's certificates. Moving on, things about availability, right?
Yeah.
So we used to have this thing called vCenter Heartbeat. That was a long time ago. It was Windows only. We've now, with the appliance, we've got vCenter High Availability. So this requires one vCenter server license.
Okay.
And what we do there is we clone the vCenter server, and we've got a passive vCenter server. Okay. And they're kept in lockstep. So only one of them is running live at any given point. And then we have to have this appliance. So again, we clone the active node, and we've got this witness node.
Yeah.
And that witness node only needs, one CPU, 1 gig of RAM, so you don't need to worry too much about resources there.
But it needs all the same hard drive space, unfortunately.
Unfortunately so, yeah. But it's, this is super helpful for situations like maybe you've got vSphere HA, and so maybe that's enough availability for you. But let's say, for example, your host crashes and your vCenter server restarts on another node.
Yeah.
Sometimes when that happens, the file system's not in a good state, so you've got to do the file system checks and fix all that. So this would help certainly in those kind of situations.
Yeah, I know sometimes we could talk about vCenter HA all day. There's so many things to go into that.
Definitely. But it's super cool. It's really easy to set up, and it can easily provide you some extra availability at the expense of a small amount of compute and storage.
Yeah, and for people who want to learn more, they can definitely go to vSphere Central and see a lot more information.
Absolutely.
Cool. And so we did mention this in the news, right? We have this vCenter server converge tool, but we didn't really talk about how it works. And we don't actually move the external PSC to be an embedded PSC. We actually deploy a brand new platform services controller on that vCenter. And with that, we replicate the data down and we repoint vCenter server to itself. At this point, any of those solutions that actually register with the platform services controller lookup service have to be registered. So how do we find out those, right? There's so many, but really what the top ones are like HCX, vSphere replication, SRM, NSX.
Yeah.
I think it's Orchestrator's another one. But
there's a few.
There's a few, and the best thing to do is you can run lstool.py, you can see everything that's registered, but the easiest way I say is once you've registered everything you think, just shut down the external PSC. It's a lot easier to power it back on and then have to go back and do some weird rollback and restore.
Yeah, but so the implication is if you don't repoint them, when you come to decommission that external PSC, you're not going to be able to log into NSX Manager, for example.
Yeah, you have to reinstall those. So make sure you re-register those solutions before we do that decommission. And the cool thing now about this embedded topology is we support 15 vCenters in enhanced link mode. We don't need that anymore. So we've definitely simplified that process, especially when using vCenter HA.
And again, in the next major release, there will be no external platform services controllers.
So upgrade now.
So definitely consider the upgrade now. So one of the other features that we've got when we're talking about sort of day 2 operations is we need to make sure we're taking backups. So backups of the vCenter server appliance. We've got this file-based backup and recovery tool. So we can schedule these backups. We can set policies for retention, and we can take backups and we can drop them over HTTP, HTTPS, SCP, FTP, FTPS, and we now have NFS and SMB.
Yeah, that was in 6.7 update too, and that was a
Yeah.
big ask from a lot of our customers.
Absolutely, absolutely. So that's super important. And one of the cool things that was introduced, and I don't think we shouted about enough around that, was the fact that we're now doing there's a health check happens as part of that backup workflow as well. So you know that that database is going to be in a certain state when you need to recover.
And I know a big thing people asked about was, well, alarms too, is right. We actually tell you whether or not the alarm or the backup was successful or not being alarmed. So you don't have to log into the appliance management interface every day and see was that backup successful, right? Is you can actually see that in alarm and get that emailed out to you or syslogged out.
Yeah, and if you're a DevOps house, there's APIs available to configure, take these backups and everything. So that's pretty awesome.
We have a lot of stuff on vSphere Central.
Absolutely.
So one of the other last things we think about is maybe over time we might have deployed multiple embedded nodes, and we didn't want external PSCs, but we wanted enhanced link mode. In 6.7 update 1, we introduced the ability to do a domain repoint, and I think our colleague Nigel just posted a blog on this, which is very informational.
Yeah.
But it actually allows you to actually consolidate SSO domains, bring those nodes into linked mode. Or maybe over time, you linked vCenters that didn't really make sense. You linked your VDI environment and your production environment. And now you can't update one without impacting the other. And so using this domain repoint tool, you can actually also separate out SSO domains. So
okay,
that's
so you
really
can consolidate and split.
And rename as well.
That's pretty awesome. That is pretty awesome. And it's important to understand that this is single sign-on domains and not Active Directory domains. Yeah.
And the most important thing is why we've definitely separated these out. These are all post-upgrade considerations. So these should not be done during the upgrade process because that'll definitely impact things. They should all be done once the upgrade is complete, right?
Absolutely.
So,
cool. And on that note, that's us wrapping up for the series. So thanks very much for joining us. We hope it's been helpful for you. As always, for more information on any of the topics we've covered in this series, vSpherecentral.vmware.com.
Yeah, we have walkthroughs, blogs, videos, and a whole section dedicated to upgrades. So if you see something that's missing, feel free to reach out to us and we'll post more content out there for you.